Welcome to the first video for the CEN review. This video will briefly explain the CEN and give you some test-taking strategies. There are thousands of nurses that are CEN certified. You can do it too. To qualify, you must have an unrestricted RN license. It is recommended that you have 2 years of experience, but it is not required. And your CEN certification is good for 4 years. Here is the content outline. You can see here how many questions are asked on each of these categories. There are a total of 175 questions that you must answer, but only 150 count toward your certification. The other 25 are being validated. You will not know which questions are the 25 extra questions, so try your best at all of them. You will be given 180 minutes, which is 3 hours, to take the exam. The CEN website has a lot of resources, including frequently asked questions. I encourage you to visit their website. The cost for the CEN exam: it is purposely cheaper to pay for the ENA membership and the CEN test than it is to purchase it as a non-ENA member. Retest. If you're unsuccessful, you must wait 90 days to retest. You can retest as many times as it takes, but each time you have to wait 90 days between each exam. After 4 years, you will be up for renewal. One option is to retest. Another option is to have 100 continuing education hours over the 4 years. To recertify, you locate your CEN certification, continuing education application, and you click on and open it. You can log your CE hours as you earn them and save them as you go. Once you've earned the required 100 contact hours, you can submit it online and payment in full anytime before your current expiration date. You don't need to send copies of your certificates unless you are notified for an audit. CE should have a clear, direct application to the practice of emergency nursing, like flight, transport, or trauma care. A minimum of 100 contact hours must be submitted, and 75 of those hours must be specifically clinical in nature. Up to 25 can be in anything else. It's okay to have 100 towards the clinical, but 75 is the minimum. Let's talk about some test-taking strategies. The day before the test, you need to make sure you get plenty of sleep. Make sure you have a positive attitude that you're going to pass. Unwind. Find something relaxing. Don't really study the night before. You know it. You got it. And then afterwards, expect to reward yourself for all your hard work. On the day of the test, review briefly. I know I reviewed in the parking lot while I was waiting for time to go in to take my test, but I really didn't review, didn't get up early or anything like that. If you exercise normally, make sure you exercise that day so that you are ready for it. Drink a lot of water. You have to bring 2 forms of ID. Make sure you have those available. Don't be around any of your friends that have high anxiety or are real nervous, because it might be contagious and make you more nervous. Matter of fact, being by yourself is usually best. And don't rush. Make sure you have plenty of time. Like I said, I got there really early to make sure I knew where I was going, and had time to go to the bathroom, and then I looked over my notes, and then I went in and took the test. During the test, make sure you read everything slowly, slow and steady. Understand all the instructions. Don't just skip through them and think that you know them. Remind yourself to relax and remain calm, and encourage yourself that you got this. Some of the questions, you'd be surprised that when you read them, you're like, really? They asked this? This seems so easy. But after you study for a while, the questions do become easier. After the test, you bet you better reward yourself. Plan on going out to do something, maybe a special meal, the movies, whatever it is. Get your nails done if you're a lady, if you do those kind of things. Massage, I don't know. Just plan on rewarding yourself. Schedule that before you take your exam. Now let's talk about if you don't know the content. Here's some guessing strategies. Process of elimination is the first one. Again, this is if you absolutely do not know the content. I've never heard of this before. How am I going to rule out some of the distracting questions, distracting answers? So if you know it's correct, answer the correct answer, obviously. But if you don't know, here's some things to think about. So get rid of any absolutes. Look for words like always, or never, or in all cases, or in every case. Y is always X 100% of the time. Those are not going to be the answer. Another one, the answer usually has very specific language, lots of details, and the wrong answers are very vague because it's hard to come up with the wrong answer when you're writing test questions. Guessing strategy number 3, eliminate outliers. So if you have numbers, the very smallest and the very largest, get rid of those and you have more chances of getting it correct. Finding the answer in the test. You actually get to go back and forth and through your questions and reread them if you want to. So number 5 says X is blank, and you really didn't know the answer. But you go to number 26 and it says X is Y, then this. So the answer might be in another question. So just remember, if there's any that you're like not 100% sure of, you're going to have a tablet to write things on. You can just write down, make sure I go back to number 5. Number 6, guessing randomly on math questions. I wouldn't recommend that you just guess randomly. However, if you really do not know the answer or how to do the math, don't spend a whole lot of time playing with that question. Just guess randomly and move on. Number 7, favor longer, more detailed answers, which I did kind of mention that earlier. 8, all the above. So all the above. If 2 of them are correct and you know they're correct, if you have an all of the above, chances are that's the answer. Number 9, look for similar choices. So usually similar choices or opposite choices, one of them is the right answer. So Y is X or Y is not X. Chances are one of those are the answer because that's an easy way to make a wrong answer is just to flip it. Gives you a 50-50 shot. Something else about the test, gender and age will only be specified in the test question if it's relevant for the answer. So if it says it's a male, then it's only going to be something that a male would have and women would not have. Here is a great strategy to help you learn. So a lot of people use flashcards to help them learn, and they put things down on flashcards. So you're going to take flashcards and you're going to have 4, 5, maybe 6 piles. And so here it's listed as box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5. So all your cards are going to be in box 1. And you're going to review those cards. And if you get them incorrect, they're going to stay in box 1. If you get them correct, they're going to move on to box 2. Then what you're going to do, take the cards in box 2. If you get them incorrect, they're going to go to box 1. If you get them correct, they're going to move on to box 3. If you ever get your questions wrong, they always go back to box 1 and they start over because obviously those are ones that are hard for you. Once you get them right at least 3 times, they're on box 4. You might want to even do them one more time, make it to box 5. So research shows that if you get them correct 3 times in a row, chances are you have it. Here it is again in writing so you can read it. Step 1, review your flashcards. Box 1, you get it incorrect, it goes back to box 1. If you get it correct, it goes to box 2. Next step, review the cards in box 2. If it's incorrect, when you review it, it goes to box 1. If you get it correct, it moves on to 3. You continue to repeat those. You might want to have up to 6 piles. Anytime that you get them wrong, they go back to box 1. This is actually a fun way to learn. The goal of the CEN review course, familiarize yourself with terminologies, assessments, and interventions. Identify areas where you need to study. Think of ways the material can be tested. Just so you know, the CEN is geared towards disease process. So if you know disease process, you got this. CEN practice questions. I have provided you with a lot of CEN practice questions, and I put it on Citrix. So the way you find this is you go to Windows Explorer. There's a picture of it at the top right corner. Open it. Then look for the N drive, also known as the common drive. Open that. Then find the System Education folder. Click on that, and you'll open that. In that folder, look for the topic ED Topics, Series 1 through 6, and select it. This is when I gave the live classes, and I broke them into 6 different 2-hour classes. Inside each one of those 6 classes, you will find all kinds of resources such as handouts, PowerPoints, and practice questions and answers. So test yourself on the practice questions that I've provided for you, and then look at the answers. Any of them that you don't know after viewing the topic, then you know what you need to focus on. I hope you enjoyed the CEN practice questions that I provided. Here are the references I used. You know you can always contact me if you need help.